This dog was minutes away from being put down, but a woman saw his picture and raced to save him. Freshie the pit bull has only minutes to live. The unfortunate canine is wound up in a crowded animal shelter in Brooklyn, New York, and he's set to be put down at 5 p.m. But with the clock ticking, animal rescuer Alana Guarini races from her home in New Jersey in a desperate bid to save the pooch. It had once been very different for Freshie. Indeed, before he ended up in the shelter, the pit bull had a very happy life. The 2-year-old dog had spent all his life with a family with 4 children, 2 other dogs, 1 small, 1 big, and a cat, Guarini told the Dodo. What's more, Guarini noted that Freshie had the ideal personality for a family dog. The pooch was great with his human brothers and sisters, and he got along with the other animals too. In fact, the Dodo describes him as gentle and affectionate and playful. But everything changed for Freshie when his owner became pregnant and gave birth to her 5th child. At that point, Freshie's owner decided that he was too much, Guarini said, and having been deemed surplus to requirement, the friendly pit bull was dumped at a shelter. Even more unfortunately for Freshie, the Brooklyn-based institute in which he'd been placed was a high-kill shelter. And with the refuge filling up fast, the pit bull found his time quickly running out. By October 11th, 2018, the poor pooch's race seemed all but run. Freshie would be put down if he wasn't adopted by 5 p.m. that day. But eager to see the friendly canine find a loving home, Facebook user Julie Carter shared images of him with a plea for someone to save him. And the photos posted by Carter really spoke to Guarini, a volunteer who fosters animals through the New Jersey organization 11th Hour Rescue. You could see the fear and terror in Freshie's eyes in that picture, and you could see how broken-hearted he was, Guarini said. I looked at that face and it absolutely crushed me, Guarini recalled. Thankfully, though, there was still time for the volunteer to turn her heartache into action. But with Freshie due to be put down at 5 p.m., Guarini faced a race against the clock to get to the shelter in time. The dedicated animal rescuer hurried across town as quickly as she could, but the minutes were slipping away fast. Happily, though, with just seconds to spare, Freshie was given a second shot at his happy ever after. It was 4:58 or 4:59 when we got the word that we'll let you take him, and he's officially yours and off of death row, Guarini added. The pit bull was subsequently renamed Stormy and was taken to his rescuer's home in New Jersey. What's more, Guarini's 16-year-old son had tagged along for the journey too, and it quickly became clear just how happy Stormy felt to be back with a loving family. He jumped into my car with no problems, Guarini recalled. My son had gotten into the passenger seat and Stormy just climbed onto my son's lap. And you could see with every little wiggle and face kiss that Stormy was thanking him because he knew he was going to live. Yes, during the drive back to New Jersey, Stormy proved to be an instant hit. He wanted to sit in my son's lap the whole time, so my son had to get into the back seat, and he spent an hour and a half riding home on my son's lap, Guarini said. In fact, the only time Stormy moved from his perch was one of the dozen times he wanted to kiss me too, Guarini said. And once the mom and son team got Stormy home, the pit bull's surprisingly big heart continued to impress the animal rescuer. For example, Guarini described how Stormy carefully played with her 16-year-old son. Stormy was wrestling with my son, and my son's hand went into the dog's mouth, and the dog left his mouth open and slowly backed his head away so he wouldn't even scratch him, she described. And Stormy really stepped up to the plate when Guarini's son got sick too. Stormy stayed in the room with him all day and nuzzled up with him. And when my son got up, Stormy was just following him around, the animal rescuer said. Stormy's glowing personality had clearly warmed Guarini's heart. In fact, she went so far as to say that she was madly in love with this dog. He just wants to interact with people and be loved. And it was for those reasons that she couldn't understand how Stormy had ended up at the shelter. But having grown so attached to the pit bull, the rescuer's next task was to find the right home for the precious pooch. According to the Dodo, Guarini sought a family that would recognize Stormy as a treasure. But seeing the friendly canine go wouldn't be so easy for Guarini. I do have to say, because he's one of my favorites, that I'm very picky, So I need to find the best home out there, Greenie said. Happily, though, just a few weeks after the rescuer had saved Stormy's life, she reported that the mission had been accomplished. In a Facebook comment, Greenie updated the world on Stormy's status. He was adopted and his family sends me pictures and videos a lot. He's all smiles all the time and I couldn't be happier for him, she said. And for Greenie to know that Stormy was in a loving home made her role as an animal rescue volunteer and foster mom completely worth it. She wrote, "We all do our best to help these babies. This is one very happy ending and new beginning he deserved." And those following Stormy's story could only laud Greenie's efforts to save and rehome him. Facebook user May Marshall wrote, "It's a true blessing to be a part of rescue as well as fostering. Thank you for sharing this with me. My heart smiles for him and his loving new family. You're an awesome foster parent, so do pat yourself on the back." Indeed, thanks to Greenie's actions, Stormy got the happy ending he deserved.